Hello Starseeds, it's Sid. My phone is shattered, so I can't really see what I look like. I don't really know how good the camera quality is for this video, but hope you guys will forgive me because it is a pretty cool topic. It is the vibrational frequencies of energy in the universe. So that's a pretty wordy title. What does that mean? Everything has vibes. Everything has a vibrational frequency to it. And today I made a handy dandy little chart for you guys that I'll show you in a second. It has not all of the emotions we feel, but it has main emotions that we feel at their frequency that they vibrate at. So that is very cool to check out. It's something that everyone should look at least once, because I mean, if you're learning trigonometry, how come you haven't at least seen the spectrum of vibrational emotions that we feel on a daily basis? You know what I'm saying? So it's a very important thing to learn. It's labeled as pseudoscience or metaphysics, but this is science just like any other. We just don't have as well of a perception to feel it or see it. So it's labeled as not yet real, even though it definitely is. Is the air we breathe real? I hope it is, because if it wasn't, we'd be dead. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to show you the emotions. I'm going to show you where certain substances, where certain diseases, where certain foods, oils vibrate at. So yeah, here we go. You can look at the chart now. I've kind of been hiding it because now it's going to be a weird angle. But here we go. This is my nice little chart I made for you guys this morning. This is emotions and megahertz. So megahertz is the unit we're going to be using today. There is hertz, which is just Hz, which is 1 oscillation per second. There is kilohertz, which is kHz, which is 1,000 oscillations per second. And then there is megahertz, MHz, which is 1,000,000 oscillations per second. So this is the quickest of the three. Atoms are vibrating the fastest. There is the most energy in megahertz. So let's just check out these emotions before we do anything else. There's obviously emotions under this. There's obviously emotions over this. There's vibrations above and below this chart that we don't perceive in these bodies in this dimension. But this starts down at 0, which we are able to perceive here. And then at 20 megahertz is shame. At 30 is guilt. 50 is apathy. 75 is grief. 100 is fear. 125 is desire, or wanting something, craving something, needing something. 150 is anger and aggression. 175 is pride. 200 is courage. 250 is neutrality, or the middle of the road of what we can feel. 310 is willingness and willpower. 350 is acceptance. 400 is reason, knowing your reason for being here and using your reasoning. 500 is love. 540 is joy and happiness. 600 is peace and bliss. 700 and above is enlightenment. So obviously in the human body there is lots of different vibes going on in different places all the time. And Dr. Robert O. Becker kind of said it best. He said there is many electrical frequencies moving throughout your body, and these can give insight to what is wrong with your body and show a lot about your health. So there was a man, I can't say his last name that well, Bruce Taino, Tainio, if you guys are interested in researching him. But in 1992 in Cheney, Washington, he invented a machine called a BT3 frequency monitoring system. So this device is basically a highly sensitive sensor that detects bioelectrical frequencies in enzymes and elements. It detects brain waves, tension in muscles and ligaments, skin temperature, among other things, to get your megahertz vibrational reading. And the average healthy human body during the daytime vibrates anywhere between 62 and 70 megahertz. That is right in between empathy and grief here on the chart. So even earlier, Dr. Royal R. Rife, MD, who lived 1888 through 1971, concluded that every disease has its own vibrational frequency and that certain frequencies can actually neutralize or stop a disease from growing, or it can actually reverse it. So he supposedly has cured cancer in a lab. He's cured other viruses in a lab through the use of frequency therapy, kind of like the beginning of radiation. So he found that human cells can actually mutate or change once they drop below that 62, right in between empathy and grief. Now, at 58 megahertz, right in between that empathy and grief as well, that is when you have the cold or flu. At 42, right in between that guilt and apathy, that is when you have cancer. And that 20-25 megahertz range is when you are like dying. Now, those are all on the very low end of the vibrational spectrum, which makes sense because that is what our bodies are intaking. Our food is also very low on the spectrum. Most processed foods don't even resonate at a readable vibration, but it is said that they are from 0 to 7 megahertz, so literally below shame, the worst it gets, below death for us. And fruits and vegetables come in more like 17 to 70, so anywhere, just under that grief. But it's important to get very high vibrational food, so emotionally you're going to feel better. I'm not saying you should go be vegetarian or vegan. I don't put a label on myself even, but I don't enjoy eating red meat because it makes me feel this low vibration that animal was going through. You really are what you eat. You're that vibration. So it's important to eat those high vibrational foods and watch out what you're intaking. For example, alcohol, I haven't mentioned yet, vibrates around the level of courage, a little bit of pride. It's like 175 to 200 usually, which makes sense because that is how alcohol makes you feel. And then marijuana, for example, vibrates much higher at 350, can go higher than that even, but that's kind of just where it starts. That is the level of acceptance, which makes sense because if you smoke marijuana, you are just going to chill out and be accepting of everything and where you're at in life at that moment. Other drugs like magical mushrooms and DMT vibrate much higher up here, and I'm sure other drugs vibrate, around alcohol or even lower than that. So watch out what you're intaking. Alcohol is literally under the level of neutrality. So it's on the more contracted end of the spectrum. You're not expanding your mind as much as you could be up here on these higher vibrations. At least marijuana is above neutrality and on the higher end of the spectrum. So if you do need that to help you get to that level, that's great. If you're down here and you need medicine to help get you up here, that's wonderful. But that's also an argument why you shouldn't just stay in that vibration, because there's much more higher that you can experience as well. If you guys are wondering what more mystical things vibrate at, dry herbs, for example, vibrate between 12 and 22 megahertz, so right by that shame. Fresh herbs, for example, vibrate between 20 and 27, so in between that shame and guilt. Crystals have very high vibrational frequencies. It totally depends on the crystals, but if you have an imagination, you can guess where they are on this spectrum. Essential oils is another thing that I could talk about for a while. Their vibrational frequency is, the highest of any pure substance on Earth. Basil has the lowest at 42, so right in between guilt and apathy down here. But rose, for example, is 320, so in between willingness and acceptance. But there's essential oils 580 and above, so by that joy, peace, and enlightenment. There's all different types of frequencies in essential oils, in crystals, in foods, and in people, and just in objects all around us. So it's just very important that we are watching what we intake into our bodies, because it's our body's vibrational frequency that we control, and the earth. So we have to watch what vibes we are giving out as well. Everything is an exchange of vibration between us and the environment, and it's up to us to be conscious of ourselves, what we are giving, what we are intaking, because everywhere we go we affect our environment and us. And we just have to be more conscious of it. We are moving through this very powerful time, very energetic area of the physical universe that Earth is passing through right now. So it's just very important to stay on our toes with this, to research this, and to look into what we're interested in, because usually what we are interested in deals with our life path and deals with our purpose and what we are meant to learn at that time too. So trust your intuition, trust your gut, and eat good things, put good things in your gut. Remember this chart, and it's okay to be anywhere. Realize where you are on this chart, because most of us are in these lower vibrations. Our bodies are literally vibrating in those lower vibrations. So for our mindset to vibrate higher than that, it's going to be very hard. Everything you come in contact with has to be at a vibration close enough to yours. That's why we can only perceive this chart. We can't perceive under this because we're too high for it, and we can't perceive over this because we're too low for it. You can only see what you are the vibration of. You can only experience what you are that of the vibration of. So it's about linking up with what vibration you want to be. If you want to be in these higher vibrations, then you have to already be there. You have to be a vibrational match to live in that vibration. So to be enlightened, you have to intake enlightened food, you have to be around enlightened people, and you have to have an enlightened mindset, morals, and intentions. We're going to talk more about this law of attraction in future videos. We're going to talk about binaural beats in future videos. We're going to talk about dimensions in future videos. So that's all coming very soon, in the next 3 weeks, those videos. So stay tuned, you guys. I'm going to show you my new tattoos, because you've probably seen them in this video. I got a 1 right here on my index finger, because we are all one. This is kind of the perfect video to show this off for. And then right here on my middle finger, I got 2 dots. My nails are really sloppy, but those 2 dots represent individuality and separateness, because yes, we are all a part of this one. We are all collective conscious, but we are all our own unique individuals as well. And yeah, I got those to represent that. If you guys want to figure out what my 33 and 316 means, then check out my Western astrology video. I share about that at the end of that, but I got those 2 touched up as well a few days ago. So yeah, I share whenever I get new ink, but that's pretty much it. So love and light, and the hybrid children are coming soon.